Why don't we just call this bill what it really is? The "they're coming for us" bill.
All right, apparently there's a new state assembly bill on the table in New York State called Assembly Bill A416. It says, as it relates to the removal of cases, contacts, and carriers of communicable diseases who are potentially dangerous to the public. I'm just going to name it what it should be named, the "We're Coming For You" bill. Check this out. An act to amend the public health law in relation to the removal of cases, contacts, and carriers. That's people. They're going to remove you from your home of communicable diseases who are potentially dangerous to the public health. And who gets to determine who's potentially dangerous? Oh, they do. Is it going to be from some solid criteria? No, it's going to be completely arbitrary, and you'll see what I mean right here. The people of the state of New York, represented in Senate and Assembly, do enact as follows. The public health law is amended by adding a new section: the removal and detention of cases, contacts, and carriers who are or may be a danger to public health. We don't know if you are or not, but we're just going to take you out of your home and arrest you and detain you and put you in a medical facility, i.e. prison, just in case. Other orders. Number one, the provisions of this section shall be utilized in the event that the governor declares a state of emergency due to an epidemic of any communicable disease. Never been on the table before, but now it's going to be. I wonder why. Is it because they care for you, or is it because they want to control you? Upon determining by clear and convincing evidence, using what? The polymerase chain reaction test that even mainstream media says is highly, highly, highly ineffective and has a lot of problems and throws off a lot of false positives. Is that the clear and convincing evidence? Is that how they're going to determine how they're going to suspend 100% of your constitutionally guaranteed freedoms? Is that how they're going to do it? Remember, I have no doubt that whoever laid out this assembly bill had quote unquote good intentions. Actually, I do have a lot of doubts about that, but let's say they did put together this assembly bill A416 with under good intentions. Remember what Daniel Webster says. I think it's worth repeating time and time again. Good intentions will always be pleaded for every assumption of authority, for every erosion of your freedoms, for every encroachment of the government. It's hardly too strong to say that the Constitution was made to guard the people against the dangers of good intentions. See, that's what people don't understand about good intentions. They can be very, very dangerous. There are men in all ages, he continues, who mean to govern well, but they mean to govern. Remember, another synonym for govern is control. Another synonym for government is mind control. There are men in all ages who mean to govern well, but they mean to govern. They promise to be good masters, but they mean to be your masters. Look at this. Upon determining by clear and convincing evidence that the health of others is or may be endangered by a case, contact, or carrier, or suspected case. We just suspect that you might be sick. We just suspect that you might infect other people. We don't know for sure, but we're just going to take away 100% of your freedoms just in case. Contact or carrier of the contagious disease that, in the opinion of the governor, after consultation with the commissioner, may pose an immediate and significant threat to the public health, resulting in severe morbidity or high mortality. The governor or his lackeys basically may order the removal and or detention of such a person or of a group of such persons by issuing a single order, identifying such persons either by name or by a reasonably specific description of the individuals or group being detained. All they have to do is just give you a description. They may pick up the wrong person. Well, we thought you were Joe and we meant to pick up Bob. 3 weeks later, oops, after quarantine, sorry, we got the wrong guy. Oops. So they're gonna come in by arbitrary means. You may or may not be infected with said health jeopardizing condition. And then we may pick up the wrong people because we could describe the wrong person. It's crazy. This is a crazy bill, guys. This is crazy. This is the "we're coming for you" bill, no matter what. We don't need a reason. We don't need to be logical. We're just coming for you because we believe you could be jeopardizing public health. This is Looney Tunes. A person or group It says a person or group removed or detained by order of the governor or his or her lackeys pursuant to subdivision 2 of this paragraph shall be detained for such a period and in such a manner as the department may direct in accordance with this section. Notwithstanding any inconsistent provision of this section, a confirmed case or a carrier who is detained pursuant to subdivision 2 of this section shall not continue to be detained after the department determines that such person is no longer contagious. But they're going to decide. They are going to decide. They're going to lay down the law. A suspected case or suspected carrier who is just suspected, who is detained pursuant to subdivision 2 of this section shall not continue to be detained after the department determines with the exercise of due diligence that such a person is not infected with or has not been exposed to such a disease, or if infected with or exposed to such a disease no longer is or will become contagious. A person who is detained pursuant to subdivision 2 of this section as a contact of a confirmed case or a carrier shall not continue to be detained after the department determines that the person is not infected with the disease or that such a contact no longer presents a potential danger to the health of others. And look at this. After the department determines that the contact no longer presents a potential danger to the health of others, a person who is detained pursuant to subdivision 2 of this section shall, as is appropriate to the circumstances, have his or her medical condition and needs assessed and addressed on a regular basis. So even after they let you go and say, okay, you're not a danger to others, but we are going to have to address and assess you on a regular basis. So basically you're hooked into the system. Oh, you need to come in. Oh, you haven't come in. Why haven't you come in? We're going to send some authorities to your house to make sure that you come in so that we can regularly assess you. Be detained in a manner that is consistent with recognized isolation and infection control principles in order to minimize the likelihood of transmission of infection to such persons and to others. And I'm going to skip to the third to the last paragraph in this. I want to read this. To require an individual, this is a mandate, you don't have a choice. An individual who has been exposed to or infected by a contagious disease to complete an appropriate prescribed course of treatment, preventative medication, or what is that? The VAXX. There you go. Codified in law is the requirement that you take the Gill-Bates final solution, including directly observed therapy to treat the disease and follow infection control provisions for the disease, or to require an individual who has been contaminated with dangerous amounts of radioactive materials or toxic chemicals such that said individual may present a danger to others to undergo decontamination procedures deemed necessary by the department. Such person or persons shall, upon request, be afforded an opportunity to be heard, but the provision of subdivisions 2 through 11 of this section shall not otherwise apply. And check this out. Look at this hypocrisy, because they already said to require an individual to take the VAXX. The provision of this section shall not be construed to permit or require the forcible administration of any medication without a prior court order. This right here does not require, this bill says that they can require the VAXX. This right here says they can't require it without a court order. Either way, they'll get their court order and they'll administer it with or without it under this provision called Assembly Bill 416. Guys, this is monstrous, because this is the "we're coming to get you, we're coming to take all your rights away" bill. They might as well call it that. Just wipe away all the euphemisms. This is not about rounding cases or contacts up. This is about rounding up people because they declare you to be a danger to public health.